Hello and welcome to another video from HU Help You Excel. Today I'm going to show you how to use FileSystemObject to grab data from multiple workbooks in Excel and record it on a consolidated master workbook. So to start, I got a simple setup, 3 columns. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to loop through a folder, and for each file in that folder I'm going to grab the min and the max from a range on that file. So let me just show you. I've got a folder here, 4 workbooks. Every workbook has the same basic format. I just have a column with some data. The data is in A2 through 194. Values are different in each workbook. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write some code that will loop through and open each of these workbooks in turn and grab the min and max from that column A, drop the file name here, min and max. Okay. So to do this, I'm going to use FileSystemObject. So I need a reference. So I'm going to open the Visual Basic Editor, which is Alt F11. We'll open this up. I'm going to go to Tools and then References and scroll down to Microsoft Scripting Runtime. They are alphabetical, so it's fairly easy to find. There it is, and add your reference. I have another video on FileSystemObject that goes into more detail on FileSystemObject. If you want to watch that, it'll explain a little bit more of this in more detail. So I'm going to dimension some variables. Oops, that's what I'm forgetting. Folder C temp. Okay, so that's just going to be the folder where your files are kept. So this is going to be the worksheet where I'm putting the results. So the number here is just the number, the order in which it shows up. So I only have one sheet, but if I had 2 sheets, the number 1 would be the one that's furthest to the left. So if you have a multiple sheet workbook and you want to dump it into the 3rd worksheet, you can just do it that way. Okay, counts from the left. Okay, so what this loop is going to do is it's just for every file in this folder, it'll loop through this one time. Okay, so we're going to set WB equal to workbooks.open file.path. We're going to not update the links, and we're going to make it read-only. That just makes sure that we don't accidentally make changes to the workbook. Since we just want to grab data, we don't want to actually change anything. So here is where the input worksheet, that's going to be the first sheet in my different workbooks. So each one of these, the data that I want is in sheet 1. If it was in, sheet 10 or whatever, you'd do this. If there was data in multiple worksheets, you could do something like that, except that's not the name of the variable that I use. And then it would loop through each of the worksheets in that workbook. So if you had multiple sheets with data, you could go that way, but we just have one, so we're going to go with set ws equal to worksheets 1 equal to input ws.range a2 through a, what did I say, 194, 195. Let's see. It's in 194. You could also do something like, if each worksheet had a different number of cells, there's other ways you could get around this. You could also just do the whole column like that. Would work fine too. I could clean this up a little bit and do like that. Functionally, it's the same. It's a little bit nicer. Let's see, did I close out all of my... Yep. All right, and that should be it. So I'm going to save this real quick. It's always a good idea to save when you're running VBA, to save before you start running. Just in case there's a problem and you have to go into Task Manager to kill it. If you haven't saved your workbook, then you've lost all your work, and that sucks. I've learned that the hard way. It's no bueno. So I'm going to step through this. I think I've got everything. If not, we'll fix it as we go. So first, I'm just setting a worksheet variable equal to the first worksheet of this current workbook. Grabbing a folder definition from FileSystemObject, instantiating I, and this is how I'm going to drop the value in the right place. Each time through the loop, I'm going to increment I by one value, so this time through the loop it's 2. So when I get down here, it's going to say cells, and then this is row, so it'll get the row from I, and then column 1. So in column 1, I want the file name. Column 2, I want the min value. Column 3, I want the max value. So it's going to loop through each of the files in that folder, this will open the workbook for that file, and it's open. Create a new reference to a worksheet. So now this variable refers to the first worksheet in this workbook. There's only one, so it's kind of redundant. I ended up not using, no, I am using this. So these application.worksheet functions expect a range variable. So I'm setting a range variable equal to column A. So the min value in column A is 75, max value is 4,953. Now in my output worksheet, there's the file name, there's the min value, and there's the max value. So there you go. Now it's going to close that first workbook, go through the loop again, increment I. So now this time when it outputs the values, it'll be in row 3. Open up the second workbook, and it's just going to go through the same thing. So now if we go back and look, there's the second one, min and the max. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and let that run. You can avoid that prompt by doing display alerts equals false, w.saved equals true. And then when you get to the end, you want to go application dot display alerts equals true, so you turn it back on. What that'll do is then that message saying, hey, do you want to save? That's an application alert. So I just turned all those off. I also told Excel, hey, it's the workbook saved. So both those together will make certain that when you go to close this, it's not going to prompt you to save. Okay, so we've got all of our data. If we look in here, here's my 4 workbooks. There were 4 workbooks in the file. You saw how quickly that ran. It'll go through several hundred workbooks, unless they're massive workbooks that take a long time to open. It'll go through several hundred workbooks in a minute or less. It'll be quick. So now I'm just doing some cleanup, uninstantiating my variables, make sure they get cleared out of memory. Save the current workbook, which is where this code is at. And display alerts equals true, so you turn on your alerts. So I'm just going to let this run straight through once. You can also do, this will make it run a little faster too, but you can't see it working when you do this. What that does is Excel will stop refreshing the screen every time something happens. That takes processor time, so if you're doing something that's, like a lot of iterations or something, this can, depending on the script, it can pretty dramatically increase your speed. For something this small, you won't see a difference, but I'm just going to let this run start to finish. And just that fast, it did my 4 files. Like I said, you could easily do several hundred files and it would be about the same speed. Just make more copies. There. Now we've got a significantly larger number of copies. Just delete this and just let it run again and give you an idea. You can see just a little bit each time it opens a workbook, the screen flickers just a little bit. So you can see how fast it's going. It's pretty quick. But you'll notice you're not seeing each time a new row being added. It's because I shut the screen updating off. So now it's done. I don't know how many I made, 81. So very short order, we got 81 of them. All right. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. And if you have a bigger project you'd like me to work on, I'm available for hire for Excel, custom access, databases. I also do training. If you like the video, give it a like. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to my channel. Thank you.